Chelsea nil, Aston Villa 1. Malo dismissed with a straight red card after a VAR review. Ollie Watkins getting his first goal of the season for Aston Villa, which would prove to be the winner in this game at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Football Therapy. Today, no intro music, and no overlays and stats. Just a conversation and a discussion of where we are in the Pochettino project. It's real tough, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea haven't scored a goal for like 350 minutes plus, more probably, because there was an incredible amount of stoppage time. The referee in this game was incredibly poor, I think, and I'm not just saying that through perhaps biased, frustrated lens of a Chelsea fan. I also think he gave some ridiculous decisions against Villa as well. I think it was really quite peculiar in how poor the officiating was in this game. We are going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about what it means. We'll talk about the manager. We'll talk about the red card, and we will talk about the goal. Yeah, settle in. Alright, so Chelsea did go over their 4-2-3-1 continued formation. We saw Rob Sanchez in goal, performing really well, by the way. Even if he wasn't amazing on the goal, he made some superb saves. We will talk about player performances. We saw Gusto, who of course was eventually dismissed at right back. Colwill staying at left back, and Disasi and Silva in the centre-back partnership. Of course, Mudryk was a big inclusion at left wing. He's actually quite a big talking point in this game as well. Nico Jackson starting up front, collecting his 5th yellow card of the season, and none of them for tackles. 4 for dissent and 1 for blocking a goal kick, which, by the way, I think Martinez, the opposition goalkeeper, this is just classic Martinez. He knew what he was doing. He kicked it at Jackson because he didn't back off, and he knew it was going to get him a yellow card. Sterling starts on the right wing, and then you've got, of course, Fernandes keeping his place in the number 10, which I'm not a huge fan of. Caicedo does start, despite many people, including myself, thinking it would be Leslie Ugachukwu starting, because Caicedo had been training by himself. Yeah, Gallagher wearing the captain's armband in the midfield as well there. Of course, we saw substitute appearances from Ugachukwu coming on, Chilwell. Chilwell came on to move things around a little bit once Gusto was dismissed. We saw Cole Palmer, and we saw a welcome return for Armando Broja, who's returning from injury just in the nick of time. Hopefully his fitness is okay, because he will need to hopefully start the next game as Nico Jackson serves his ban. Now, we are going to do the post-mortem of Chelsea. A little bit of personal news, though. I have Jackson, Chilwell, and Gusto in my fantasy Premier League. They all got booked, and there's no clean sheets there, including a red card for Gusto. So, when your team, you're in pain, and you go check your FPL, oh yeah, that happened. Awful. Of course, Aston Villa, Unai Emery's Aston Villa, they played on Thursday. They lost 3-2 to Legia Warsaw. They rested some players, though, and they played like a 4-4-1-1. Very sort of disciplined, well-coached side, Aston Villa. They ended up with a lot more shots than us, but of course they had a man advantage for over half an hour. The first half, not much happened. Chelsea actually started really well in both halves, and this is a recurring theme of Mauricio Pochettino's Chelsea this season, starting really well. I wonder if this should be a bit higher, by the way. I'm just going to quickly move the camera higher because the shot isn't good. There we go. Pochettino's Chelsea, they start halves really well, and they did it again today. The opening stages in the first half, Chelsea played well, they combined well, they pressed well, and similarly in the second half, they came out like with a point to prove. To be honest, we started the first half well, but then when we don't score because our confidence drops, and then Villa comes into it. It's almost like we're set up well, we know what we're doing, we are very promising, and then when we don't capitalise with a goal, the confidence drops, and then we let the opposition in. This is a classic thing in football, and seemingly it happened again here, which is very, very frustrating. Oh man, it's just pain, there's pain. Of course, there should have been, 3 or 4 minutes stoppage time. The referee, who I've already spoken about being absolutely crap in this game, blew the whistle about 90 seconds too early, when if anything, he should have added 90 seconds on to the stoppage time because of the time wasting, the injuries and stuff. So he robbed Chelsea of 3 minutes in what was a strong attacking momentum. Now, I don't want to make excuses here because ultimately Chelsea can't score goals. Of course, Rob Sanchez makes some excellent saves. He was by far our best player. Not only did he make some good saves, he was good in set pieces, he was claiming corners, he was passing well, and a man that cost us less than 25 million quid looks like an excellent signing and probably our smartest piece of business, which is mind-blowing really. So in the 58th minute, Malo executes a poorly timed tackle. Well, no, it's a well-timed tackle. He gets the ball, but his studs are up and it hits the ankle of the opposition player. Now, he gets the ball first, and he then takes out the player. I think, yeah, it's a yellow card. I think it's a dark yellow card because of how he hits his ankle. But what I don't think is after the referee sees it and says, yep, that is a foul, and I'm giving you a yellow card for that bad foul, that there is a clear and obvious issue for VAR to intervene. Because as soon as VAR intervene, the decision will change. That's just what happens. I know in theory, a referee could look again and go, yeah, it looks bad, but it's he gets the ball first. I'm going to just stick to my decision. That doesn't happen, and especially with the quality of officiating in this match and the pressure that was seemingly getting to this referee was too much. So I just don't think, personally, I just don't think it was ever going to be overturned once they call VAR. I don't think they should have called VAR because I don't think it's a clear and obvious error for what the original foul was from the referee, what he calls the yellow card. Look, man, ultimately, even if you're against that decision, which I am, and many of you will be, it's not the biggest travesty in the world when you see that still of Gusto studs bending the ankle. Yes, it won't provide full context, but it's not like the biggest travesty you've ever seen in football, him being dismissed for that. And it's not, Chelsea fans are rightly upset because it's a contentious decision, but Chelsea fans are also more upset because we're not playing well, and these things, when they're not going for you, are very, very frustrating indeed. So Gusto comes off, Chilwell comes off on to play at left back, and then everyone just slots over one. So Colwill and Silva play centre back, and Disasi plays right back. Mudryk sacrificed for Chilwell to come on. Later on, like I said, we see substitute appearances for Mugachukwu, Palmer and Breuer. Let's talk about player performances then. Of course, it's worth mentioning as well, the goal is scored by Ollie Watkins is in the 73rd minute. That's about 15 odd minutes-ish after Gusto is dismissed. And to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with Thiago Silva on this goal. If he just takes a yellow card deeper in the action, the goal doesn't happen. But, he was pretty good otherwise, Thiago Silva. And also, Sanchez, not great on the goal either. He was nutmegged, but it wasn't like a howler from Sanchez. And like I said, Sanchez, for me, was our best player. I think he was very, very good. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat a lot. So let's talk about player performances. Sanchez, yes, I've already spoken about him. I thought he was good. The centre-backs, I think Colwill was good. I think he was very unlucky on the goal follow-up because he actually makes a good tackle. He's very unlucky that the ball drops to Ollie Watkins for him to finish. He covered well, he makes the tackle, but it's one of those things that it's just where the ball lands. Silva, not his best game, but he was fine. Disasi, I think he was okay as well. He obviously scored a goal that was offside. He had to move over to right back and didn't look awful at right back. But these players aren't the problem, are they? Conor Gallagher looks fine for his role. He's playing in a double pivot. He's tenacious, he presses, he passes, he's doing what you're supposed to do in that role. I think Caicedo was not looking like a £115 million player that we hoped for, but he doesn't look like the problem either. Mudryk is a big talking point in this game because he looked really good at times, but also he makes very, very basic mistakes. Now, this you can kind of understand when this stuff happens, why Pochettino has been hesitant to start him, although he started him twice. Is it twice in a row now he started him? So he's sort of starting to lean on him, but you can see why it's taken him a little while. You can see why perhaps he's the first guy to come off when we're a man down, because when you're a man down, you need whoever's left, the 10 players, to be like the least mistake-making players. And of course, Mudryk, though looks immense in ability at times, he also looks very raw. And that's okay, because that can be coached. It will take time, but yeah, he looks good. He looked like he was giving the Matty Cash nightmares at times when he was running against him, but we didn't really get the opportunity to see that enough. And then, like I said, there's a few basic areas there that need to be ironed out, but I'm not too worried about Mudryk because I think they will be ironed out. And there's clearly a very good player there, as long as we can not apply pressure to him and just let him evolve and be coached. Fernandes is a bit disappointing. I just don't like him in that number 10 role. Actually, I think ever since we've moved him into this more advanced position, he's been worse. I think he's been quietly, not flawless, but very good consistently. And if you hear like the neutrals, people who analyse Chelsea, they talk about Enzo just being this consistent performer since we signed him in January. And he's been, bless him, in absolutely horrific scenarios in what is an undercoached and undercooked and underdeveloped Chelsea team. He's still played all right, but now he's playing in this 10 role. It just doesn't suit him. Sterling, people will be frustrated with Sterling because he carved himself out a couple of opportunities and didn't score, but he did look good still. I understand why Pochettino's turning to him. Even when we went down to 10 men, you could trust him to run, you could trust him to press. I don't think Noni Madueke is going to make any differences there. Jackson's disappointing. He looks shook. He started the season well, even when he wasn't scoring. Everyone was talking about him. And again, the non-Chelsea pundits, non-Chelsea media are going, oof. Tell you what, Nico Jackson looks good. I did a video on him recently, looking at his stats, and they were very strong indeed. But I think now the pressure's getting to him. He's obviously got that yellow card now, so he'll have a game out. And who knows, maybe Armand Bria will just come straight in, or we'll play a false 9 or something. We ended the game, before Bria came on, it was Palmer and Sterling up front. Palmer looks confident. Palmer looks good. I would just start Cole Palmer in the number 10, honestly. If you think, I don't know, maybe you just can't drop Enzo Fernandez. I think dropping Gallagher, who's been a consistently good performer, is a tough decision for Pochettino. He's putting the captain's armband around his arm, and he's not performing badly, Gallagher. So that leaves you with £220 million question, in Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. Who does he drop? Who does he drop? Or does he just play a 4-3-3 and play Palmer out wide? It's really, really tricky, man. It's really tough. So should we talk about the manager a little bit? I actually feel quite bad for everyone involved, probably most for Chelsea fans, because it's a very, very tough time. And, they had been quite patient, Chelsea fans, last season. And, this money spent and the investment. I look at the players, and yes, they're young players. Mudryk we've spoken about, errors but also bright moments, and he'll probably come good. Jackson regressing and spending too long on the ball, and I think he's starting to feel the pressure. But it's this 22-year-old kid. Yes, take him out. It's who do you bring in? Do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone's phoning it in. I think everyone's trying really hard, the players. I think confidence is low, which is affecting finishing big time. So let's talk about the manager. How do we feel about Mauricio Pochettino in this scenario? Chilwell looked pretty good when he came on, playing left back though. So what do we say? Is Colwill playing the left back the big problem at the moment? Because he started Mudryk. Many people are happy with the lineup, really. So Colwill playing at left back, but I guess Pochettino wants that more defensive cover on that left hand side. I guess especially if he's planning to start Mudryk long term, he wants a more defensively capable player. Chilwell's defensively capable, but as in centre back level. Is that our biggest criticism of Pochettino? Maybe. In terms of unavailable players, of course, there's firepower. And, Reece James will be missed more now more than ever. The fact how Malo Gusto is going to be suspended for 3 games, a straight red for reckless challenge like that. I believe that's 3 games, isn't it? Or is that violent conduct? Or I don't know. It might be 1. It might be 3. I have a feeling it might be 3. Or is it? I don't know, because I think it's reckless. It might just be 1. Anyway, feel free to let me know down in the comments. We'll move about Gusto. So I know Reece James is getting closer, but whether he's going to be available in a week's time, I don't know. And do you want to rush Reece James back? That has been a curse of ours for months and months and months, rushing Reece James back when he's not quite ready. And then he just has a recurring injury again. And we go round and around we go. Look, make no bones about it, ladies and gentlemen. The same problem remains. It's just finishing. It really is. We start the games well and just prang out in front of goal. I mean, everything stops with the manager. The culture, the player morale, the player fitness, and the coaching and the tactics. Well, the player fitness is good. The mood is meant to be good. The culture is meant to be good. But the finishing just isn't there. I'm struggling personally to think in terms of the available players, what Pochettino can do differently at the moment that will bring goals. I think it's, what do you bring in Madueke and he just scores a lot of goals? I just don't know, man. I just don't think Chelsea have got that juice at the moment. I think it's just confidence and personnel, and I don't know do you agree with me or do you disagree? Let me know, because I'm just one person with an opinion. If you guys have this huge, collective opinion that you all agree with, that there is an issue here, I'm very, very open to receiving it and leaning into it if I can see the logic. But for the moment, it's very frustrating, and I don't really quite know how to highlight it apart from saying confidence in finishing. Let me know what you think, guys. It's really tough right now. I feel sorry for everyone, really, all Chelsea fans. We got to support each other though through these tough, and they are tough times, man. They are tough times. So look, thanks for joining me. We will get better. We have to get better, right? Right?